Hey you all, welcome back to part 2 of what you can do in your 20s and 30s for longevity and hormone health. So if you didn't know, I split this video into 2 parts. There are 10 total tips. Although all of the tips are impactful, I started with the least impactful to the most. So if you have not seen tips 10 through 6, make sure to go and watch part 1. That video is so juicy, so jam-packed. So in part 1, we talked all about your liver, we talked about endocrine disruptors, your environment, and nutrition, and a couple of other things and their impact on hormonal balance. Let's get into these tips, starting from tip number 5. Number 5 is blood sugar regulation. Insulin resistance and insulin, it is the root cause of a lot of the imbalances that we're experiencing as humans, not just women. Diabetes, imbalanced glucose sugar levels in the blood and in the body is prevalent in so many diseases. One of the things that I grew up seeing was my grandma being diabetic. She also was addicted to sugar. When I really first started doing consultations, one-on-one consultations, especially in Jamaica, I would talk to elders who were like, yeah, I have sugar, which is what they would call diabetes or high blood sugar, and I don't really know why. And then you start to ask them questions and they have candy all the time, or they have so much bread and white pasta, bun and cheese. You're just eating sugar. Like your insulin is not able to regulate the amount of glucose and the sugar that you consume from your pancreas. It's not able to because you are overburdening the body and the blood. Like I always say, a lot of diseases are not passed down. The bad habits are passed down. I then became addicted to sugar. These degenerative diseases, arthritis, eczema, these stem from sugar. Fibroids, the cysts, the emotional instability. There is not one thing that you take from this video. Reduce sugar. If you don't know what to use instead, get my womb food guides. I have awesome alternatives. When you start to become insulin resistant, meaning the insulin that your pancreas is putting into the blood is not able to regulate your blood sugar levels. Once you get into this territory, now you're at risk of getting diabetes. Now you're at risk of your cysts becoming PCOS, the fibroids, and infertility, a lack of circulation and blood circulation to these womb areas, even for men, especially for men, impotence, and low libido. I'm a highly sensitive person. When I eat sugar, inflammatory, highly processed, refined, white sugar, it goes straight to my brain. I can have a migraine, I can get a headache, brain fog, I feel it behind my eyes themselves might start to feel a little blurry. So when you think about blindness, cataracts, and these floaters, a lot of them stem from the starches and the sugars because of how the body breaks down the starches. The white breads, donuts, the pastries, you guys, the biscuits, the crackers, they go to the eyes, they go to the womb. So what can you do? Do a sugar detox. After my 13-day fast, I made a video for that if you guys are interested. I've had an aversion to sugar. Take this one extremely seriously. Number 4 is quality sleep. I literally wrote, take your ass to bed. Go to sleep. I am talking directly to myself. I get so much energy, especially traveling in Asia. Y'all are up when I am going to sleep. And so for my business and just to interact as well, to talk to family and friends, sometimes like to be up at night. I realized that it started to wreak havoc on my productivity for the next day, my body's ability to shed off fat. My yoga practice and my Pilates was just not enough. And I was walking every day and sweating. It was not enough. I was holding on to fat. Women, we're different. We're cyclical and we need more rest because of the amount of hormone cycles that we're going through monthly throughout our entire lives. We need more rest to regenerate. So one of the reasons why it is vital to sleep is because there are 2 hormones necessary for the reproductive function that are produced at their highest when we sleep. This is FSH and that feels so good. FSH and LH. This is follicular stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. Eggs grow in the follicles in our ovaries, right? And so when we're going through the process of ovulation and preparing for ovulation and then breaking down the uterine lining, the follicles need to grow and they need to be a healthy environment in order for this egg to then potentially become a child. These hormones keep the balance between estrogen and progesterone and cortisol. They all work together, but because these two very important ones that help to bring on ovulation and the shedding when an egg is not implanted, if they're produced at their highest when we sleep, we need to be sleeping, not just sleeping, but sleeping well and sleeping at the right time. So going back to talking about the liver, in traditional Chinese medicine, there is the understanding that certain organs are regenerating in particular processes at different times during the day. The liver is essential and foundational for shedding the excess hormones and for regulating our hormones. We need to really be sleeping, at least getting to bed by 10, 11 p.m. to support and promote the process of, our liver function. So see if this makes a difference in your life. I've been using sleep as a way to regulate myself for years. I look different if I'm not sleeping. I act differently. I'm not productive if I'm not sleeping. Cravings might come up more, and this is directly related to insulin resistance. Here are two studies that I found really interesting. So when it came to low quality sleep, when women were getting low quality sleep, which is less than 6 hours nightly, this disrupted their hormones, it disrupted their ovulation and their period length. So they ended up having more extended, difficult periods. The next study was 6 days of sleep restriction caused a 40% decrease in insulin sensitivity. 40%. Do an audit of your life and see how many hours of sleep you're getting at night, over what period of time you're getting that amount of hours, and see if that relates to your ability to release weight, your ability to stay balanced when stressors come up, your immunity, if you're getting cold sores, if you're getting yeast infections, bacterial vaginosis, urinary tract infections. Sleeping also is going to support your healing and your detox from PCOS, endometriosis, fibroids, and it helps with fertility because this is a time when you're fasting. So your body is not using energy to digest. Our body uses so much energy for your digestive fire. Your body is not doing that when you're sleeping, which is also why it's important not to eat a few hours before going to sleep. So your body can actually rejuvenate, replenish, and reset. This is also essential for your brain health. I love using herbs in the form of an inhalant or an oil. So this is one that I got in India, and it has camphor and peppermint and these really amazing fragrances that you can put herbs, well, it's medicine, that I just put inside my nostrils, and it goes straight to the brain. It calms me down. It also kind of sets the tone. My body knows, okay, that is a time to be relaxed, to be balanced. Even now I feel more calm and I'm talking lower. It works. So using aromatherapy and all of your senses is a really great way to get better sleep. Of course, I have to talk about herbs and teas and blends. You can use nervines. These are ones that are going to help with the nervous system: soursop, blue vervain, chamomile, lavender, peppermint. These are amazing to take before bed. Yin yoga. I did this last night and I knocked out. Getting deep into your muscles and your tissues and your parasympathetic nervous system. It is so amazing. It feels so good and so nourishing. Number 3 is gut health. What is the gut? I see a lot of people talk about the gut. I noticed that they're referencing the stomach. The gut is your entire GI tract, your gastrointestinal tract. That includes the tube that food goes down, your esophagus. It includes your small intestine, where a lot of the minerals are actually absorbed, believe it or not, and it includes the large intestine. It's not just the stomach. If you have an imbalanced gut, if you have waste and toxins that are built up in the body and are not being released effectively, then you are going to have a difficult time absorbing the nutrients that you're eating. You might find that you're getting the right amount of calories, but you're still not feeling better, or you're not noticing any changes. You probably need to do a gut detox, a colon detox. It's key to think about the gut bacteria in the body and its ability to actually use estrogen, use serotonin, and use some of these hormones that are essential for our reproductive function as women. your gut bacteria being balanced is essential. 70% of the immune system is actually located in the gut. The gut is your second brain. There are neurons in the gut that line the digestive tract that act independently of the brain to initiate certain responses. And so that's why they call it the second brain. Even when you think about phrases like, I had a gut feeling, this area is also your solar plexus area, and that is about being able to, be balanced and power your own willpower in life. That is not a coincidence. This is that area, that digestive fire, and your ability to move through life the way you see fit. It is absolutely essential that it is clean and it is operating properly, but that you also do have good gut bacteria. You don't want to wipe everything out. A lot of the times the antibiotics wipe everything out. We don't want that, because when we do that over a prolonged period of time, then you're having a ton of issues like leaky gut and so much inflammation. I am always talking about the importance of digestion for reproductive health. The cleansing of the waste is absolutely key when it comes to all the other processes in the body. Have you ever noticed that when you're extremely stressed, it is so much harder to go to the bathroom? Constipation is directly related to high cortisol in the body and imbalanced nervous system. Just to get the body balanced to where it wants to do these things naturally again, because it's designed to do that and you don't have to induce it or force it, that takes some time. So just be gentle with yourself, please. Have grace for yourself. So you can use herbal detoxes. There are so many. People use psyllium husk. I love bitters because you can mix them with things like Cascara Sagrada, which is an amazing herb for the digestive system. Chew stick is also really good. The actual chew stick that I sold and you use for your oral health is also great for your stomach and your GI tract. Fasting is one of the easiest ways to regulate your digestive system. You're no longer eating so that you can release. Technically, they're not fast if you are digesting, but you can do juice cleanses, you can do fruit cleanses, you can do herbal tea cleanses, sea moss cleanses. I have all of these kind of videos where I've tried things out on my channel, so check those out. The playlist is called Eat to Live. Substitute out inflammatory foods. If you want a list of those foods, check out my womb food healing guide and my plant-based food guide to see what you should substitute out and what you can put in that is more fiber rich, with the right kind of protein that is going to support in strengthening the stool. And by strengthening, I mean building it so it's not just liquidy, and pushing that fiber out. So that's going to help move it through the canal so that it actually comes out of the body and it's not like getting stuck in, the different curvatures of the intestine. Drinking hot water is really great for the digestive organs because your spleen and your stomach are already at a very high temperature. If you drink water that is at near that temperature, like tea temperature, then you're supporting the functions of your digestive organs. One of my mentors is Vietnamese. When we would go out to eat, she would always have a little cup of hot water that she would ask the server to bring her. She explained to me that it's really good for digestion, and also if you add lime or lemon to it, and this was years ago, but also in traditional Chinese medicine, this is talked about a lot, keeping the organs warm and hot and not cold. And lastly, please chew your food. Digestion starts well before we put the food into our mouth. So when you're looking at something, that's why it's nice to have very colorful plates. And when you eat with your hands, so in India they eat with their hands, in a lot of African countries, you are stimulating your digestive juices, getting your stomach ready. Everything is getting prepared to consume and absorb this food. But if you are inhaling your food like a vacuum, it is going to cause bloating. It is going to cause indigestion and a lot of issues that you just don't want to deal with. So see if you can chew your food at least 30 times and see how much different your body actually uses the energy from the food. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. Another thing with gut health is it's directly related with your ability to connect to your intuition, your higher guidance, and spirit, to God. Oftentimes, if you're struggling with meditation, you probably need to cleanse your body, cleanse your colon, and drink more water, have more hydrating foods, eat your water, really cleanse out the waste waste that is backing you up. It's almost like a backlog. You might know people like that in your life. They are so filled to the brink with information or educate, whatever it is, that they have no room for anything else. There's no capacity. So once you start to release some of it, now you're making space for whatever you want in your life. Where can you remove the things that are not serving you so then you can allow in what you like? Number 2, if you can get number 2 and number 1 down, every other important aspect of hormonal balance will fall into place. Number 2 is stress, regulating your stress response. So this is one of the most important tips when it comes to not just hormonal health, but longevity, living a long, happy, fulfilling life. This has rung true in my life personally. I talked about the external environment and me moving away from environments that were keeping me in a particular mind frame. Stress is the not so silent killer in so many diseases, heart diseases, diseases like diabetes, because stress is what is leading to overeating, addictions, the trauma, the root causes of these issues are creating the stress in our life, and our subconscious mind has adopted these things as the reality and our beliefs. Oftentimes these external triggers are imbalancing us and keeping us in a dysregulated state for longer. So your cortisol and your adrenaline hormones, these levels are going to be higher for longer. We already talked about why that is an issue, but stress is the culprit. And number 2 and number 1 work together, but I want you to do an audit in your life. Take out a piece of paper and a pen and write out every area where you feel stress. It can be acute, it can be chronic, it can be in relationships, it can be in your business, your work, whatever, small, large. Write down every moment of stress. And then I want you to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being not that stressful, 5 being it's gotta go. And I want you to do an audit and see what areas can you start to eliminate these stressors. What areas can you start to work on your internal environment so that these stressors no longer affect you and dysregulate you in the same way? If you do that alone, the amount of freedom, the amount of personal power that you will reclaim is going to quite literally change your life. When you walk around the world being so extremely reactive and sensitive to everything around you, I don't mean being neurodivergent and being highly attuned to different elements and frequencies. I mean being a walking ticking time bomb. That is something that you can control. The things that happened in your life are in the past. They happened. The way the body responds, especially these cortisol and adrenaline levels, the way the body responds, the nervous system, when we're experiencing stress is as if it's happening to us currently. Something that, we experienced 20, 30 years ago. It's as if it's happening in the present moment. That is so dangerous because of the way it dysregulates all of the other processes in the body, especially your willpower and your ability to bounce back from that. So again, it's not the most glamorous shadow work and these deeper topics, but it is absolutely vital if you're someone who is constantly being pulled into drama or constantly feeling like things just are not going right. When it rains, it pours. That expression is from a trauma survivor or someone who's currently in their trauma. This is a key to life, period. Being able to self-soothe, which as women, we are better at doing this. Oftentimes our hormones can be so dysregulated that it is difficult to think clearly, to see clearly, and to see people's behaviors and actions for what they truly are, and to know when we should be acting in a certain manner, like when it is proportionate to what we're experiencing and when we're absolutely out of line. This is key, and this is how you can become someone, I don't necessarily like saying unbothered, but when you can become someone that just matrix because you're so regulated, you're so clear, your intuition is heightened, you're knowing. So audit your stressors and rate them on a scale to 1 to 5. What work can you do to be less triggered by your triggers? A really nice way to channel stress is to move. So think about movement. Go back to the movement tip in physical fitness. Number one is nervous system regulation. Your body does not feel safe then it is not going to be able to regulate the hormones that are being produced by your glands and your organs. Now, the reason why number 2 and number 1 are linked, your nervous system responses come from your subconscious mind programming. And your subconscious controls something crazy like 95% of your daily behaviors, your choices, your thoughts, everything. 95%. Sit with that. That is major. Now, this energy that's coming from the subconscious mind, a lot of the times was shaped in early childhood, in different relationships, traumatic experiences. That's the first step when we talk about healing, is addressing it and being aware. The nervous system is running things. It also affects your ability to receive more in life. As a woman, we talk about receptivity, magnetism. You can build yourself up so much with affirmations, but all of that is very surface level if you're not going deep into the nervous system. I remember reading this somewhere that animals, and you may have heard this too, that when animals go through traumatic experiences, they actually tremble, they like shake. It is understood that they're actually moving that energy out of their body physically, in a physical way. If I experience something that happens to be mildly stressful in life, I literally will sit there and just like jump and shake for a moment, you know, in the privacy of my own home or room. It has changed the game for me because it is something you can do immediately to start to move energy so that it's not getting stored. A dysregulated nervous system, especially for prolonged times, is going to activate cortisol, the stress hormone. Another thing that I've noticed in my personal life is my ability to call in and attract the things, the people, the opportunities that I desire is influenced by my nervous system. So I'll give you one quick little story. I was given an opportunity when I was creating my womb food healing guide during my fast. I was reached out to and asked to teach about, you know, what we talk about here on my channel. And my immediate gut response was, yes, this is everything that I've been calling in. Well, it's a piece of the puzzle and it is going to strengthen my teaching skills and put me in front of different and new people. Absolutely, this is aligned. Let me do it. Then I started to hit a wall when it came to actually creating the content and some of the materials that I needed for the presentations. Something was preventing me. And by something, I mean my nervous system and my subconscious programming. It literally was a wall. I was feeling so lethargic when it came time to do it. I would procrastinate and I knew what was happening, but then something else switched on and started to find an issue with the opportunity. And this is why I said it's so sneaky, the subconscious programming, because you may feel logically like you have crossed your T's and dotted your I's, and the issue is everything else. And I had to sit with myself. I had to be open and honest with the person who gave me the opportunity. And we talked through it because I knew this was a next step for me to do. And I also knew that I was hitting a wall and I needed external support. The thing about this sometimes is when you get on the other side, you see how silly you can be. These systems were created, these programs were created to keep us safe. They actually did a lot for us in childhood or whenever we experienced trauma. There are certain times when you just have to shed and when the old you has to die off. If you're a member on my channel, I uploaded a video and on the thumbnail it says when the old you dies. So if you're a member, make sure you check out that video, and thank you to you all for joining the membership here on YouTube. I talk about, you know, more of my spiritual journey and my subconscious healing and trauma and things that I experienced and then how I overcame them. So when cortisol, your stress hormone, is activated and dysregulated, adrenaline is also up, and this throws off the balance between estrogen, progesterone, insulin, even your sleep, melatonin, and serotonin. And this is also going to contribute to the womb diseases as well. I have tried so many things. I'm such a nerd when it comes to improving this human experience. I am just so interested in the body, how it works, but really how our energetic systems work. EMDR therapy, which I started years ago and have recommended other people in my life too, was absolutely transformative. Being in community with like-minded people, your immediate environment, especially family, friends, people that you eventually may outgrow or you just are not finding resonance with, if they are doing life in one way and you know that your experience, your destiny, and the trajectory of your life is just different, but the environment that you're in and the people that you're around are doing this, it's going to be very easy to continue to do this. You are the company that you keep. So finding like-minded people, whether that's an online community, I'm so grateful for you all, or being a part of a Patreon membership, taking classes and courses and investing in yourself. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of New Earth Mystery School, community in general, being able to have a sounding board and to see yourself through the mirror and the lens of other people is really, really necessary and helpful. EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, which is the tapping. I also use this still to reprocess past experiences and subconscious programming. I use that as well. So if you know about EFT, get back on it. And if you don't, have fun looking into different YouTube videos and seeing how you can add it to your routine. Dance, yoga, movement. I've talked about these already. Breathwork. When I look back over everything that I've done to get to where I am now, breathwork was extremely healing for me. That is because it is getting deeper into the parasympathetic nervous system, helping you to uncover the root of the stressors and the triggers, and not only uncover it, release it from the body. There's one practice by Brie Melanson, swear by. It is only 17 minutes. You lay on your back. It is a 3-part breath, and it is transformative. So I will also link that below. The relationship between your respiratory system, your lungs, your ability to take in oxygen and distribute it around your body, especially to your brain and to your heart, is vital when it comes to healing. There's a passage that I live by that says opening up the heart chakra is the last initiation, and that's it. I also said self-soothing, sound frequencies, binaural beats, music. I swear by music. It is very therapeutic for me. Plant medicine, whatever kind you are called to, and being in nature, going in the sea, being in the elements, and getting back to the original way that we were as humans. Those were 10 things that you can do now in your 20s and in your 30s to increase your longevity and to balance your hormones for reproductive harmony and to live your best, most free, delicious life. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know which number was your favorite or which one you really want to implement and work on more. I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section. I absolutely love you all so much, and I'm so grateful for you. You can check out my womb food healing guides, my one-on-one guidance sessions down in the description box, and anywhere that you can find me, you will find my links. Also want to say Happy New Year, because this is the real new year, the real energy. I'm sending you all so much love, and I'll talk to you soon. Another one. Just this is going to affect your hormones, which is the foundation. Oh my gosh, I sounded so Jamaican there. Let's get into these tips, starting from tip number 5. Is it 10, 9, 8, 7, 6? Yes.